Welcome back. I'm showing you this slide again to remind you of our topic, Ae Cheon, Ae Guk. This focuses on three kinds of love-centered values. Love for God, Ae Cheon, love for people, Ae, and love for our country, Ae Guk. Practicing these core values and attitudes can help us become responsible and mature people. By loving God, loving people, and loving our country, we have a chance to make a peaceful and free world. These are precious ideas that can benefit our whole life, but we need to put them into practice. Sometimes what is acceptable to one person is insensitive or hurtful to another. It is important to find a way to harmonize and agree about basic values. When we don't agree on basic standards, we can step on each other's toes and hurt each other without meaning to. So let's first look at the principle of the core value of loving God. Let's think about love for God. Some people say that what is right, wrong, differs from person to person. Do you think that is true? Or is there some measurement by which we can decide what is good and what is bad? What kind of behavior and actions develop your good character, and what kind grow your bad character? When you were a child, you probably didn't worry so much about your looks. But when you became a teenager, you may have spent a little more time in front of the mirror. Physical appearance seems to dominate the thinking of many young people. Of course, it is good to be healthy and in good shape, but is our body or our looks really the most important thing in life? We usually agree that a person's character, the content of their mind, and their heart is more important than how they look. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." What exactly is good character, and how do we develop it? To develop good character, we need to find out the difference between right and wrong. And once again, this is where our conscience comes in. Conscience is that small voice inside that makes it possible to know the difference between right and wrong. A healthy conscience is your parent, your teacher, and your best friend, all in one, because it helps you to decide what is best for you. Your conscience is like a compass. It helps you find the right direction in life. It keeps you out of trouble and makes it possible for you to fulfill your goals and dreams. The conscience is like a loving mother or wise grandfather who says, you should do this, or, you should not do that. It speaks to you from within your heart instead of through your ears. The conscience cannot force you to do something that you would rather not do. You are free to choose, to voluntarily listen to that little voice within, or to ignore it. Each of us, at some time or another, has experienced the pangs of conscience. When our conscience and heart are saying something we don't really want to listen to. Your conscience is a trustworthy source of wisdom. It whispers to you in a soft but firm voice. In science class, you study natural laws of the material world. There are also laws that govern human behavior and society. So, in the same way that there is a law of gravity, there are moral laws and principles. In the West, most people are familiar with the golden rule. Do to others what you would like them do to you. In the East, there's something that is known as the silver rule. Do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you. In Africa, there is Ubuntu, meaning you are because I am. So since I know this, I will do what is good for you because it is good for me. Your conscience comes from the goodness within you. Nobody gives it to you. You are born with it, just as you are born with lungs, with muscles, and a brain. If you don't exercise your muscles, they become weak. If you don't study, your brain doesn't develop. In the same way, if you do not listen and exercise your conscience, its voice grows weaker. This is the story of the triangle. In the western United States lies the Navajo Nation. It is a large area of desert land with cactuses and scorpions, wild and beautiful as it has been for thousands of years. The Navajo Nation is like a little country inside a big one. The Navajo people have many ancient traditions and beautiful stories that have been passed on for generations. One of them is a tale about the shape of the conscience. It says that your conscience is like a small triangle inside your heart. When you know something is wrong, it turns and pricks your heart with one of its corners. But when you harden your heart and ignore your conscience, it doesn't stop moving. It keeps turning slowly, wearing down its corners in its efforts to get your attention. Eventually, the triangle gets so worn down that it becomes smooth and circular, spinning around and around in your heart without any effect. You can't feel it anymore. The Navajo people say that this is what happens when we ditch our conscience. We lose it. The Russian author Dostoevsky said, if you wish to win over the whole world, you must win over yourself. He was talking about overcoming our natural body-centered desires, like desire for food, sleep, and sex. The problem is that many people do not know how to control them and when to say enough. The battle between the mind and the body has a long history. Dostoevsky lived 2 centuries ago, but little has changed since then. People generally find two ways to deal with this challenge. One is by strengthening their mind through mental practices like meditation, prayer, or even chess games. The other is by challenging their body through team or individual sports or dance. In Asia, for example, people have practiced taekwondo, karate, judo, kung fu, tongilmudo for many centuries. Practicing martial art teaches a person to not just fight outside enemies. It also teaches how to conquer the enemies within us. What are those enemies? Laziness, fear, and self-doubt. The time and place we grow up in have a very strong influence on what we think is right or wrong. You or out of your friends or one of your friends may have a difficult situation at home. But what if he has a teacher at school who really cares about him? This might be enough for him to work hard, develop his talents, and become a responsible person. Our conscience is affected by the standards and values of the society we live in. No one likes feeling guilty. But if we do something that is wrong, feeling guilty is a good thing. It is a sign of good mental health. Guilt is the pain our conscience gives us when we do something that is morally wrong. Having no sense of guilt is dangerous. Guilt warns us that we are going in wrong direction. Our conscience is our inner parent, teacher, and guide. It encourages us to change direction if we are wrong. It is watching over us, trying to make sure that we get what we need and that we don't get what hurts us. You probably traveled on an airplane before, right? If you have, you likely heard the following emergency announcements. You know, if you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist the other person. The oxygen mask is a good metaphor. If you want to support, help, and inspire others, you first must make sure that you are healthy and strong yourself. The conscience keeps an inner moral code, a natural understanding of what is right and wrong. All people share this, regardless of your country, culture, or customs. Some religious people say that the conscience is God's voice inside the human heart. In Ae Cheon character education, love for God includes loving God, loving our parents, or simply appreciating what the universe has given to us. The heart of love for God can also be seen as attending or showing love and respect to our parents. Through this, we can learn the importance of developing our love for a higher moral order or absolute values. Things to think about. How do you feel now about the questions that were posed to you earlier? Some people say that what is right and wrong differs from person to person. Do you think that is true? Or is there some measurement by which we can decide what is good and what is bad? What kind of behavior and actions develop good character, and what kind grow bad character? Thank you once again. We will but quickly proceed to the next lesson, lesson 7. This part is about love for people and love for our country. As we talk about love for people, here are some questions to keep in mind. Can people live without love? Why or why not? What kind of relationships do you think are most important? What do you consider most precious in life? If someone were to ask you that question, what will you say? Some people will answer power. Others would say money is most important. And others would say wisdom or knowledge matters most. But are those things, power, money, knowledge, really the most important things in your life? When you think about it deeply, you conclude that the most precious thing is love. In Korea, A is love and in is a person. So A in means love for people, love for persons. You may have experienced in the family atmosphere of a small town, a religious gathering, or a meeting of friends. The original founding philosophy of Korea goes beyond ideology and religion. Hongik Ingan is another way of saying love people. Live and work for the benefit of all humankind. Love for people renews relationships and builds a close community. We are good to our neighbors, even those we have difficulties with. We tolerate different personalities and customs. We forgive mistakes and offenses. We help and give without strings attached. When we live like this, we come to understand that genuine love is needed in a relationship. So we need to be able to love in the truest sense. This way, we can create happy families and communities. So how do you feel now about the questions that were posed to you earlier? Can people live without love? Why or why not? What kind of relationships are most important? As we talk about love for our country, Ae Guk, let's think about these questions. Is it important to love our country? Why or why not? What kind of sacrifices could help make a country strong and healthy? Patriotism means that you love your country and are willing to defend it. This might mean as a soldier in battle, but maybe more importantly, with your daily heart, words, and deeds. A patriot puts the benefit of their country first and is willing to make sacrifices for it. Ae Guk, love of country, encourages us to embrace people, other countries as well. When our country is doing well, we will be able to help support and serve other nations that are less well off. Our goal of character education is to make good global citizens. Loving your country does not mean that your interest stops at your nation's borders. If we belong in the world, we must go beyond our nation. Loving our country is also connected to loving nature. We love our nation so that it can be a place of happiness and hope. So we must take care of its environment. Here for this, Mother Moon emphasizes the role of the earth as the body's primary parent. The earth, which should protect the future of humanity, is suffering right now, she said. We need to restore the beautiful earth created by our Creator God to its original state as quickly as possible. Hak Jahan Moon. Things to think about. How do you feel now about the question that we posed to you earlier? Is it important to love our country? Why? Why not? What kind of sacrifices could help make a country strong and healthy? In conclusion, we have briefly shared the core values of Ae Cheon character education, which are 1. Love for God, Ae Cheon; 2. Love for people, Ae; and 3. Love for our country, Ae Guk. Now we can imagine a bridge between God, or our ideals, and our conscience. So let's start creating a happy life, become a global citizen, and realize a world of lasting peace. Thank you. Thank you.